it. I was trying to write it down here quick before it started because I'm on my phone Zoom today because my computer is having a little bit of some trouble, so I can't throw it up on the same screen here. I know the first one was
Tree grunts.
the boulevard trees.
Yeah, tree grants or boulevard trees that you brought up. I just didn't know if you had specific grants in mind you wanted me to try to look for.
Yeah, so there's grants that'll open up in like March from the Forest Service, and there's a few different ones that some have matches, some aren't match requirements, and they range from like a few $1,000s up to like 25 grand. And we don't have any trees to remove, so really all we'd have to pay for is just the trees themselves. And I would volunteer and help plant them and everything, but I was thinking about getting a few 5 to 7 footers to, whether it's the, what that'd be, the west side of the elementary is where the main door is, right? And the south side, just there, we used to have some shade trees and things there, back when I was in school, and it's so bare now. And I just think it'd be good to have some shade trees just kind of around, and makes the property look better. So I don't know. I was thinking about maybe doing like 4 and 4, like 4 on that west side on the main side with the door, and then on the south side where the football dirt pits are, doing maybe 4 on that kind of boulevard there across from the hospital parking lot, just to get some shade trees. I was thinking kind of larger shade trees. So, but
do you have, first thing you do with this is you get an estimate on the cost from like some sort of nursery? Do you have a nursery in mind of where you'd want me to get that estimate?
There is, Animus. I know that they get trees too. Mike there. Because we're public, we should probably get some estimates, maybe from multiple is the right thing to do. We would never go over that amount that we'd have to call for bids, I think, because, a 5 to 7 foot tree, I think we're going to be looking at like 150 to $250 probably, or something like that. And
each?
Yeah. For those bigger ones,
we'd have to go call for bids on that. That would be over. If you're going to buy 8 shade trees at $150 a piece, yeah, we wouldn't have to use an engineer, but we have to call for bids.
Oh, well, and that looks better anyways, so I figured. But we could ask like Mike Schmaltz, and Devil's Lake has a nursery, or the Towner Nursery, that does direct to sale, like larger trees like that. Just ask for estimates and whatever looks good. But yeah, I think it'd be good to, start with something that's kind of going all right, like 5 to 7 feet tall already, and get it that those roots spread and let them go. So yeah, not much that I had to add there. I was driving by the property one day, and I was just like, God, and it looks so bare around here, and it's like that would be something small that would just kind of spruce that place up a little bit. So I don't know. That's all I wanted to kind of bring up. What's that?
Stories. There used to be trees down there. Stories. Now it kind of looks like a prison.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah. I remember having on that one side the shade trees at recess and everything, and
yeah. Well, it was brought up to me when we were getting that sidewalk fixed. They said, now you got the sidewalk fixed, now you need to put some trees here. I said, yeah, we should work on that.
Yeah.
I know.
So, and the guy that I know him pretty well. There's NDSU's email, but he's a Forest Service guy. His name's Joel Allen. He's kind of worked with me on some Arbor Day stuff for some of the towns here, and really nice guy. He's kind of my point of contact. He works with those grants all the time, and I want to say March is when those will kind of reopen again. So just figured be on the lookout, and let's kind of just keep that in mind. And once we kind of get closer to there, we can, I have some ideas for tree varieties and stuff, but having some diversity is always good. So
do you want me to just add a call for bids to consent for the next meeting on the 11th? So then once that's passed, then I can just go get those estimates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, we could request that we could just I mean, I guess it's already February, so I mean, it couldn't hurt. And yeah, let's do that.
The
Let's
grants
try
are
to
due
put
in
that on
March.
the,
I just feel like I need to move on it.
yeah. Yeah. I would say do that. Let's put that on the agenda for next week. And I don't see, what would be the harm in asking for some pricing on some of those things. And again, I know some of that stuff is no match. So if we get some pricing and then we can get a nice size grant, we could have 100% of it paid for anyway. So, but
Sounds good.
okay.
Sounds good.
That's all I have there. So,
Okay, and then the next one I believe was so this is a 2-year thing here. We've talked about limping along the AC unit in the high school.
Yes.
I know that when it was like my first week, they brought me that it was on its last legs. It's a 1966 or 67 model. The estimate we got when it first started out, I believe that was just the unit, was I think 150,000. I think, and then the other thing is the question we probably want to do if you want to do a call for bids on that, this would be something that you'd look at for pricing for the summer installation, fixing the air conditioning, those type of things. And you're looking at, do you want to add ductwork into the outer classrooms on that side? Because right now you don't have any ductwork into those classrooms that have have the windows. I mean,
right.
obviously they can open their door or whatever, but do you want to do that? It's up to you.
Well, I always think, and this is just me, that there's no harm in requesting information on pricing. Because yeah, 100, you said 100, 150, and that was just for like the compressor and I suppose the lines.
The unit.
Yeah. Man, I mean, that's got to be a heck of a unit, but for building that size, but.
So what classrooms aren't being ducted to right now?
The outer rim, the outer, like.
Is that just
really?
starting on the, like, when you walk into the building on the right side, like those classrooms, or does that include like the ag room and the band room too?
The egg room has that.
Oh, it's got that heat pump, right?
Yeah, that the alumni put in.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then
Doesn't the band room have one too?
I'd have to check on the band room. I know, but like Mr. Fall's classroom, the science rooms.
Yeah.
I don't believe the
Mrs.
home ec
Walsh
room has ductwork.
What about like Mrs. Armstrong's room?
She does, I believe.
Yep. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like I said,
ducting more rooms, your unit might be undersized then. But
that's why we got to go get an estimate for what would this cost and what would this cost, and at least understand what it is. If you want to do that, if you don't even want to do it, we don't have to do it.
I'd like to see the information. I'd like to,
yeah,
I'd like to look into it and see what we come up with. I'd say might as well include the ducting just to see what it is anyways, what we're looking at, but
we'd get a bid for just the unit, then get a bid for more ducting, and then if they have to increase the unit, then you got a minimum kind of it, then you gotta shoot for the stars side of it, I guess, too, or
yeah,
not to say shoot stars either, that's probably not correct, but.
Well, yeah, you aren't shooting for the stars, you're just trying to see if you can just get a basic ductwork into your classrooms.
Right,
and
exactly.
Yeah. So what should we just slate that for next week's agenda too? I don't know if you call that call for bids at this point, but or just even giving authorization to look into that, whether it's talking to Shelley or Keller or some people in town to get some preliminary ideas and see
I have a call for bids on the agenda just to allow me Like they
Okay.
can give prices formally.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
if I'm out there soliciting bids, then it may as well have the call for bids out there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's take a look at it. I mean, I think it's always good to take a look at things like that. So,
okay. And then this next one is kind of a thing we should do. I don't think it's been done before, but we've always done a roofing contract with Travis Mache, and he fixes our roof over the summer. I think it's appropriate. It's always over $500. It's always over $500, and so
is the are how are the roofs like? Are we having problems in areas or?
you always find out after the thaw. I
Yeah, I
mean,
suppose.
last year we didn't have it was fine over the winter, and then the thaw happened, and we had like 8 leaks in both buildings between the two buildings, and then
Well, I think it's just once we have that thaw, is in both buildings on the lookout, and if we need to, if we have some problems, then get that addressed. Kind of play that to when the thaw comes. I think because hopefully, cross our fingers, the thaw comes and we have no leaks and we can we're doing okay for the year. Excuse me.
well so what happens is they start well, basically what you're doing is they can give a free inspection, and the
Sure.
free inspection, then they'll give you the estimate of what it costs to fix what's wrong.
Right.
And so I mean, I can solicit multiple free inspections if you want, and they'll tell you what it's going to cost.
Well, I think that's just an item of, you know, relatively routine maintenance. And it's just, to me, let's keep our eye on it when the thaw comes. Let's, um, you know, because the more water you let into a building, it's terrible. So, I mean, we don't want any of that. So once that time of year comes and we start getting some snow to melt, let's have all the custodians and yourself or whoever to have our eyes on it and get the right people in here if we need them and get it done.
Okay. Yeah, the first call I usually make is to Travis, and that was a
Sure.
name that was given to me by Dan, or
Right.
he had already submitted that all together when I got the job. So, that would be how it would work.
Okay.
Okay.
And oh, and so I just wanted to update, on the boiler. The question they had said we didn't start the boilers on time in the high school, but we did start everything. I mean, all the boilers were started the first week of November as normal. The high school was started as normal. There was a problem with the auger, as I reported,
Yeah.
that delayed the elementary boiler starting a week, but it was still going by the second week of November. And then after it was second week of November, it ran, and then we had another problem with it, with the stoker, and that was then we were able to get that fixed. But the hot water in the high school runs on the fuel oil. It does not run off electric. It's running off fuel oil. So that boiler does run. The fuel oil boiler runs pretty routinely. It doesn't have a lot of purpose. It's not heating the whole building, but you're going to always be using a little bit of fuel oil at the high school off of the water heater.
Mhm.
And so, but Zane was correct in his budget report in January that, I mean, the increase in fuel oil is largely related to running the extra boiler for an extra 2 weeks.
Right.
To cover for the fact that the coal boiler wasn't running. So just wanted to make sure we clarified that to you
Yeah,
guys.
no, that made sense. I mean, I figured we'd be running there too. I mean, when you said that the coal boiler had the auger going out, it's just fuel oil is expensive too. So when we were on the backup for a couple weeks, I kind of figured, I was like, oh boy, we'll see those bills. So that stuff is not cheap.
Yeah, but we had budgeted for the water heater in the high school and that type of stuff. That's part of what we normally expect. But the fuel oil boiler taking on the whole elementary school in December and November takes a little bit of fuel to keep that place cold or warm. It is fairly cold even when it's running because it's a smaller unit, but just so I wanted to make sure you guys understood that because Lane got that question and I got clarification on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew the details.
Okay.
I knew what everything was happening.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. That's the end of the agenda.
Okay. Yeah. Well, just to maybe say a little add on, I don't know too, just here soon, I know we talked about this, whether it's James and I, kind of what we're doing with our goals and guardrails right now is, I know we've been really busy, which is, that's just a fact, but I know that there's still some people wondering, how we're going to keep moving forward and addressing some of the larger scale building problems. And kind of was thinking, it's what route is most effective on getting some audiences and some more feedback again, because ultimately this is like got to have so much feedback. And it's like, maybe do we start going to like some of these community clubs, organizations where they got 30, 20, 50 people, even maybe sometimes at a time, and try to schedule and meet with some of these people to kind of just have more of an informal sit down and with this committee and saying like, hey, this is still kind of on our minds, but ultimately there's so much detail and feedback needed. I don't know what the thoughts are there, but I think the public forums are good, but I think kind of preliminarily, again, I don't know if starting with, if we have 250 people in like the gym again, it's harder to have, some, it can get less organized, I guess. And it's like, if you have 250 ideas flying, at a time, that might be kind of difficult to hone down. So it's like maybe to do like, and I'm thinking community groups, and then like go back to that forum style, maybe eventually where we have hundreds of people, like kind of go a different route, take it a little slower. I don't know. They're just trying to learn from the last time, last year, last year. And so, I don't know, just some thoughts to kind of put out there.
Yeah, that might be the right avenue. Have some simple conversations with people instead of getting yelled at all the time and, for 2 hours.
Well, and it's because last year that was, the first time in like, what it was 60 something years since 67, so it's been a while since we did it. So we kind of shooting on our, doing it the first time. So we can learn a little bit from last time, and I don't know, but I think it's important that we just kind of show that that's still on our mind and try to keep moving at it as busy as we are. I know, we've been meeting a lot and it's just more meetings, but figured
I think
we can't set up some
I think I've been waiting to see what the legislature does with building construction. I know that they've talked about the Kansas model, and the Kansas model, every school that's over 300 every 10 years gets $20 million to upgrade their infrastructure. If you're under 300, you don't get that money. You're on your own. So I
saw proposed 75 million into that construction revolving loan fund we had mentioned. initially proposed 75 million as an appropriation into it again, on top of what revolves back. So I did see that.
But that
So
that
I'd be
only
interested to
comes
see
that only
what happens.
comes right in a past referendum, right?
Yeah.
I think that only comes if you pass something. But
Yep.
Right.
yeah, whereas I'm talking about you would apply up front and then you could say to the taxpayers, well, we have this 20 some million already. This is going to cost probably 5 million for us as taxpayers. Here's the tax levy versus having that uncertainty of the revolving loan fund where you think you'll get it because of the age of our buildings, but you can't guarantee anybody that you're going to get it because
Right.
it's like you have to apply after it's passed. So
But
yeah. So okay, well that's all I had, guys. If you
okay. Anything else, James?
I'm good. We're good
Okay.
over here.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and everybody. We have some visitors too, I see. So in here. So thank you, everybody, for hopping on.
all right,
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Meeting
Thank you,
adjourned.
guys.
meeting
Thank you.
adjourned. See ya.
Goodbye.